the distinguished dean and the faculty and the library department. I welcome you all on behalf of SCC Online for this training session. And considering the pandemic, yes, definitely we are all working online, as whether it is in profession or in our, what to call studies. So this is of utmost importance to all of us. You know. So I hope I'm audible.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, Mr. Rana,
Yes,
you're
sir.
audible.
Okay. So I'm just going to share my screen. I think in a while. It's taking a while. So uh, Mohit, can you just share the screen if you
Sure, sir.
have it
Just a second.
ready at hand? Yeah.
Yeah. Just hold on. There you go.
All right. So
See, in the meantime, we can just talk about
yeah, the data coverage.
yes, data coverage and other things, small things. My name
Mhm.
is Chetan Singh. I'm trainer with SSC Online along with Mr. Raina and Mohit. So, considering that today's session is for all the students, not only from the first year but also the senior batches or would be joining us. So there are a lot of things that we would like to talk about. A lot of things that we'd like to cover in this session itself. But I think I think I've been to SRM University personally as well. I've been to the university. I've seen the campus. It's a huge campus. It's really unfortunate that we could not be there in person. And I think that would have been the best arrangement, that if you would have visited the academy, visited the university, and been in person. But the good part is that this session would be getting recorded. This session, you can access this session later on as well, and you can join us from at the comfort of your home. I was today in the morning. I was in a webinar with Justice Alka Sareen ma'am, who is the High Court judge for Punjab and Haryana High Court, and the topic of discussion was all about the challenge, the functioning of the court today, right now, and the challenges that the judicial officers are facing. I think it's the same thing with us. When I say us, I mean the students, the faculty members, and the resource persons like myself. And I think the only learning that I would like to share for now, what we discussed in the morning webinar, was that we need to focus on more on the solution than on the problem, right? So before we start with that, before we get onto the session, we can get onto the session. We can keep talking about what the software is about, how you can use it, how you can access it. But I think what is more important is understanding what is that you need, you as a researcher, you as a person, the user. What do you expect from this session? What do you expect from SEC Online? So we'll take a moment, probably let's say another minute or so, and we would appreciate if you can put it in the chat. You can put it in the chat, and you can just simply let us know what you are expecting from the session, what your expectations are, and also in case there is something specific that you would like us to cover in this session, please do let us know. Right. I welcome the distinguished members. Dean sir, welcome and thank you for giving us your time, and not only time for the student but also your time. You've been a part of this meeting. Really appreciate this. Parvati ma'am and all the faculty members, the library in charge, all the members who have taken their time to be a part of the session. Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate this. Now, Dean sir, Parvati ma'am, if you also want us to be, cover up a specific portion from the SCC online that you think the student face a challenge in, please do let us know. We will take care of that. We will keep going around and we will take the questions in the chat and we'll try to inculcate all of it in the session. First thing first, what is more important right now is not how you how you use SCC online. The first and the primary concern right now is how do you access SCC online, considering that you're not in the campus, so everything has been accessed remotely. So that would be one main thing. And for that, we have given all of you access to MyLoft, what you can see online right now on the screen. We're giving you a MyLoft access, which will ensure that you get to access all your e-databases at the comfort of your home. Okay, so we need you to be vocal about it and be let us know if it's working for you or not, because you will only be able to reach to all your library resources via this particular MyLoft software. So first thing first, we're going to share that how it needs to be set up, but also we would like you to check your mailbox while we are detailing this and look for the same email. If you have not received the email, it will be a good time to highlight that particular part that you have not received an email, and we will take it from there. And we would either check your email address if we have it in our database. If not, we will send the email again. I'll quickly take you through this MyLoft and initial bit of SCC Online and then pass the baton to my colleague. Now, first thing first, guys, you need to check your mailbox for the email sender as noreply@myloft.xyz. Okay, because of the extension that it carries, that is .xyz, a lot of times the email might land up into your spam folder or your junk folder. So you need to be very careful of this, that in case you don't find this email into your mailbox, main mailbox, you should check your junk or your spam folder, right? And once you get that, you will receive an email like this, which will say, dear, your name, and some other things. And at the end, it will say, in the center, it will say, set password. This is the first step that you would have to take. So you click on set password. Once you do that, it will open this particular website into a different browser. And from there, you'll be able to log in. Now, first thing first, it will say select your institute. Now over here, you'll be searching for your institute.
I think it's yet to be on board, so
okay.
we'll have type SCC.
What you've done right now is that we are given a free access to your university. So right now, your institute would not come over here. You have to search for SCC Online. Okay. Mr. Anand, did you check if the SRM was there or not?
Yes, I did.
Okay, great. Did you check with Parvati ma'am as well?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I think they're still to be on board that way.
No worries.
Sir, I have used it. Sorry for interruption. I have tried using this SSC online and MyLoft, but I think many of our friends and faculty, among the faculty members and the students are yet to get access to this MyLoft and SSC online. Kindly, if you do not mind, please enlighten us regarding this.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, first thing first.
The mail.
We would have asked you for an email, and which email, that means that you would have sent an email to us with all your Mr. Not this email. Just go back to the MyLoft. You would have sent us an email with all the members, all the students and the faculty members' email IDs, which they will be using, which they are using in the campus, or which is their official ID. So the IDs that we have received, it can be 10 IDs, it can be 20, it can be 400, it can be 500, depending on how much IDs, how much email IDs that you have sent us to send it to us. Once we receive that list of the email IDs, then we send them this invitation email. If in case you have not shared those email IDs, I would request you can share the list of all the students' email ID with their name, their email address, and their mobile number. 3 things we need. If mobile number is not available, it's okay, but 2 things I need for sure. That is the name of the student or the faculty member. And second is your, what are you doing? Okay. Second, yeah, second is your email address. So these 2 things are required. So ma'am, you can send us this information, and then we'll be able to, roll out that emails that Mr. Rana just showed it to you on the screen. Okay. Parvati ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The librarian has intimated that both the email ID and mobile number of the students, that is a registered official email ID of the students as well as faculties, have been shared.
Okay. So if they're not received it, what I'll do is I will request my team to send another email. Today, it's not a working day for us. So on a Monday, I can arrange for a quick email to be sent to all the students one more time. So those of you who have already received that email, who have already set up this particular domain on MyLoft, you don't have to do that. You don't have to repeat the process. For those of you who have not received it, that email would help you. So ma'am, Parvati ma'am, I will get it done on Monday morning. So by Monday, you can expect you can expect an email coming from MyLoft. The same email address that I mentioned, that is myloft.xyz. Right?
Is Maheshwar there? Because I had invited him also. So
Maheshwar is not here.
Okay.
Maheshwar is not here right now.
Okay.
So, ma'am, so we'll talk. We'll just take this thing forward, and once people receive the email, they will follow the same process. So first thing first, it will ask you to select your institute. So this is very important step. Right now, you need to select SCC Online as your institute, right? Not as not your SRM University. So you do that. Once you do that, it'll take you to this page. It'll ask for your email address. You put in your email address, the same email address on which you have received this email, right? And the password space will be blank over here because it's the first time you'll be setting your password. You do that and you click on sign in. Now, once we sign in, it will take you to the main page of MyLoft and show you that how you can access all these databases. And this is not only for SCC Online, this is for all your this is all for all your other e-databases as well. Now once you come over here, you see there's an option which says home, e-resources, collections, and favorites on the left hand side, right? And on the right hand side, because if you'll be using it for the first time, on the right hand side center, there will be a error message. It will say that, can you please, yeah, there'll be error message which will say that seems like you have not installed a MyLoft extension, a Google Chrome extension. So you can add that extension. I'm sure everyone knows how to add. Just click on add extension, it will get added. After doing that, you come over here and you click on e-resources and database. And in the database, you would click on SCC Online. Once you click on this, it will open SCC Online on the different tab. Now, this is very important because if you do not follow this entire process of MyLoft and we try logging in directly on SCC Online website, what's going to happen is that it's going to show me only an option which will ask for a login, but with an ID and password. What we are expecting, what we have access to is the IP login. And the IP login, as you can see, user login and IP login. IP login will only appear over here if we follow the MyLoft entire process. Okay, and you need to understand why this is required. In the campus, this was not required because you were in the campus, you were using the university Wi-Fi. So we could authenticate that where are you coming from. Considering that now everyone is remotely logging in. So how do we get the authentication done that the person who's coming on board or person who's going to access SSC Online, is that person a genuine student or some external party who should not have the access to this particular portal? So the authentication factor is done at the MyLoft level. Now, when you come over here at IP login, it allows for your ID. You simply put in your login ID and it will just simply let you log in. Provided that you have logged in earlier. And when I say logged in, that means if you've done logged in earlier, that means you would have registered yourself once. Now, in case if it says you're not registered, this ID is not registered, then you would need to register it over here. Now, this ID that we put in over here, it might not be the right ID and it might say that login ID not registered. So Mr. Let's go back. Let's follow the steps. Now, how do we register yourself? You need to do it for once. So you come to IP login and there's an option of register here, right there, right? You click on that. It allows for your login ID. You can put in your login ID if you're not registered. Put in your full name and register and login. It's only a one-time registration. And the next time you will just be able to put in your ID and you'll get the access straight away. So this is the entire step. First MyLoft and then coming over here. Now students can put their graduating year over here. So if you're starting from this year, you can add 5 more years from adding this year as well. If you're in the second year, you do the maths accordingly, right? For the faculty members, you can simply skip it and that will take you to the screen. Can you skip more, Mr. Raina? And there we have the screen. So this is the simpler way of getting to the SSC Online. And next time, if you'll come on the screen, you'll simply be able to click on the login, IP login, put in your ID, and you'll get access to it. Now, before we get into this search, let's go back to the website. There's a small place that you would like to go through, especially the the senior students, that what all databases does this particular software gives you access to. So for that, we'll click on data coverage. We'll click on web edition. And in web edition, you can see there's a data coverage list. You can go through at your own leisure time because there are a lot of information which will be pouring in over here for your reference. But just to give you an idea that what all information that you would have access to today when you're going through a session, you'll be able to access all the Supreme Court of India judgments, your Federal Court Privy Council judgment, which is before independent judgments. Then these are the apex courts, before independence apex courts. Then you also have historical courts, our Lower Burma, Upper Burma and all. Those are provincial courts which were there before independence. Those courts are also available. Then you have all your high court judgments available over here. You have few hand-picked judgments of district court, which is very important judgments. Then you have various tribunals judgments, APTAL, TDSAT, WIPO, Labor Court, Consumer Forum, all those are available over here. Then apart from that, you have your statutory law. Statutory law means that you have your central acts, you have your state acts, you have your rules and regulations, circulars, notifications, instructions, all that is available over here. Alongside with that, you also have your bills in the parliament. Now these bills would not be the live commentaries that are happening in the parliament, the live discussion that are happening in the parliament. No, it will be only the stage, the first stage, that is when the bill is introduced in a house. That stage, what was the text of that bill at that point of time, or when it is passed from one house, that at that time what was agreed and what was presented to the next house. So we will be giving you these 4 stages. Introduced in Lok Sabha, introduced in Rajya Sabha, passed by Lok Sabha, passed by Rajya Sabha. Okay. And then you have your constitutional orders, which I'm sure you know that it will keep on coming, like as and when it's required. Then apart from that, this is all the primary law. Then let's talk about secondary law. Now, what is secondary law? Secondary law is the law which does the work which results into helping the primary source of law. So you talk about central acts, you talk about state acts. All this is a byproduct of the Law Commission report. Not all of it, but most of it. So Law Commission report, is a report which is made by the Law Commission of India. They review the existing laws and suggest any amendments. And based on that amendments, the bill is presented in the parliament, and then if it's agreed, the reform is brought in. Then apart from that, there are other reports which does the research work, which does the analysis, and then submits that report to the parliament, and based on that, the new law is made. Then apart from that, can you please go back on the top? There's a I'm so sorry. There are Constituent Assembly debates which are kept on the top. Now this is a simple. It means that all your Constitution of India that you know it as of date, it's a result of 2.5 years, almost 3 years of hard work of 300 plus people who sat down in the Constitutional Hall in New Delhi and debated about what is legal, what is illegal, why a particular act should be brought in, what should be the punishment, all that stuff, all that important information that took place in that Constitution Hall is made a part of the Constituent Assembly debate. They are part of 12 volumes. You can go through it, right? If you scroll down further, you will get articles. You get articles not only from SCC Online, but also from various university and other journals. Those are available over here, other international journals as well. And if you keep scrolling down, you will get more information in respect to your treaties, some handpicked historical trials, and others. Right? I can go on and on this. There's another element that is foreign courts, but I'll leave that for now. We'll get to the software now. So can we click on the second tab? So we were here on this screen, which had different tiles. One is blue color tiles, which is denoted by the word Research Plus. The second one is My Library. Now, though either any of the tiles that you click on over here will give you access to the same pool of information, but the methodology of researching does change. In the blue tiles, you will be able to access the information, or you'll be able to view the information, view the results, when you would put in something over here. So you can put in your party name, you can put in the citation, a particular word, and that's when it's gonna give you the results. Things change, things do take a different turn when you go to your My Library section, because My Library is more like your virtual library. It's like walking in the physical library. Now in the red tiles, My Library, you don't need to type anything. You just have to select and browse the information. The information would be available in a tree structure. You click on the main heading, the subheadings will open up. You select the subheading, and whatever that is kept under that particular heading will keep pouring in. Just to give you one example, I don't have to show you anything. Let's give you one quick example. Let's suppose I go for the third tile, which says Browse Judgment by Court, right? Now in the Browse Judgment by Court, don't have to go through it. Let it be. In Browse Judgment by Court, what happens is that it'll first say the years. It'll first say the decades, that during which decade or which decade you're looking for the information. Are you looking for the current decade? That is 2020 to 2021, because only 2 years have passed in this decade. If I go the previous one, that is 2010 to 2019, if I click on that, it'll open the year-wise list. Then if I click on any particular year, it will then open, the courts that you want. Supreme Court judgment, do you want High Court judgment, do you want other court judgments? You can give you that. And then once I select on Supreme Court, let's say for instance, it'll further give me the month-wise bifurcation. That do you want to see, the May month judgment? Do you want to see April or January? You can select that, and then finally it will give you date-wise bifurcation. So what is happening is you're just going step by step. You're going, that's what we call a tree structure. Go with one branch, you take the first branch, then you go to the lower branch, and then the lower one, and then you get the results on the screen. So we'll show you all of this in today's session, right? So I will request my team member, Mr. Rajesh Raina, to take this forward from here. Mr. Raina, over to you.
Thank you, Chetan. And let's now begin with the research plus section, as was discussed here, that you can search on the basis of a party name or a citation or an act or a section, or maybe any word search that you have. You can use this research plus section. And in this research plus section, the first option that we have over here is word search. So let's do one word search over here. And usually what happens, you must have used some other software tools also, as well as some free software search engines like Google, where you need to enter the entire description, and thereby you get the results. Now, suppose I'm looking for judgments on, say, corruption. So what I'll do is I want the latest judgments from the Supreme Court of India. For that, I'll just key in the latest judgment on corruption from Supreme Court of India. That's what we usually will do. And let's start the search and see the results over here in SAC, how it works. So what I'm expecting is the latest judgment from Supreme Court of India, and this result screen that you see over here, it comprises of three columns. The first one will give me the total results, that is our USP, that is the digest notes. Some also call it law points or head notes, summaries. So that is the first one to be populated in the result list. Then the judgments. If I want the bifurcation of judgments also, I can click on the plus mark. You get the Supreme Court, Privy Court, High Court, etc. For the High Court, I also want to see the particular High Court. I can just expand this again and select it, view it. So this way, all the results are displayed in the first column. Then second column, subsequent column, you get to see the result list of all these 1111 results. Now, the first document that I can see is an article rather than a Supreme Court judgment. And of course, the second one is a Supreme Court judgment, but it's a 2019 judgment. Obviously, it's not the latest. We are in the year 2021. And to get the latest results and to see only Supreme Court, what I'll do is I'll do the filtering here in the judgments section under Supreme Court. If you move the cursor to a specific database, only follows this red color only. So I'll just select Supreme Court. I click here on this only, and the rest of the boxes get unchecked and only Supreme Court is selected. So obviously I'm getting only 104 results now for Supreme Court only. So this way I have done the what you call the filtering. Now I want the latest one to be on top. So I go to the sort by section in the result list and select the chronological latest first. There are four options available over here. So I'm selecting the latest first. So I'm getting the judgment of 2021, the current month, 7th of May. So this is how we apply the filter and sorting in SCC, which you won't find in any free kind of search engines. Now, coming back to dashboard, you will click on this 3 lines, and from any screen, you can get back to the dashboard by clicking on this dashboard icon. Now here, I'll just pull out the previous search again, and here, instead of the latest judgment and from Supreme Court of India, since we have got the filter, we have got the sorting, so we don't need these. So I'll remove these and focus only. I'll leave out only the main keyword for which we were looking for the judgments, that is corruption. So this is what I need to just type in and start the search, and let's see the results now. Obviously there will be a difference, but how much? Let's see. It shows 57,000. So from 1100 to 57,000 is a humongous, difference, huge difference. One. So that means in SCC, when you are, going for a descriptive kind of a query, the more you key in, the lesser result you are getting. And it happens otherwise. When you key in less, you are getting more results. Now let's move on to again to the judgments portion. Then select the Supreme Court database. Obviously, in the result list, I'm getting only Supreme Court now, and let me sort it out and click on chronological latest first. And the latest one will be on top. And coincidentally, the same 7th of May is the latest one on top, but there is a huge difference in the number of documents or judgments. Here we have got 2192. So this is one simple what you call a search which we have performed. Similarly, we can also do searches like in the form of legal phrases. Like if I'm looking for say judgments on human rights, so what I'll do is I can just simply type human rights and click on the start search, but it will give me those documents also where human and rights are coming separately. I want them as a single word. For that, therefore, I'll put them in double inverted commas so that it's searched as a single word. And let's start the search. So once we do that, we'll get to see the results. Right now in the first column, just above all results, if I want to further narrow down this search further, I'll use the search within search option, which is available over here. So I can go for another search, fundamental right, and put it in double inverted comma, since it's again what we call a phrase search, and now it will further narrow down. Right, this way I can keep on narrowing it down or filtering it down up to 6 levels, up to 6 steps. And in between, if I want to modify a particular step, I can use this cross mark on that particular step, which will remove that step from among the string, and then you can retype the modified step over here. Right. So again, these are very simple and basic searches, and we have some more searches, advanced searches available in the word search. We will talk about that later. Let's move on to the other options that we have in research plus section. That is, let's start with this words and phrases. Now, words and phrases is kind of a legal thesaurus, you can say. You get the definitions on legal words and phrases, but those definitions are from the statutory law or from the judgments or the case law, and we've also incorporated the Wharton dictionary, UK dictionary definitions also over here. So if I'm looking for, say, one on, say, res judicata, I need not put the double inverted commas here, obviously, because this is a strictly pure what you call legal phrase that I'm looking for here. So without that inverted commas, it will also give me those definitions. Now you can see here the definition of the res judicata, where it has been defined. It has been defined in Ramji Gupta versus Gopi Kishan Agarwal 2013. And there is another definition which is from P.R. Ramakrishnan Naidu versus S.V. Krishnasamy Naidu. And also, you will also find this Wharton dictionary, which is in the square brackets, the Wharton dictionary definition on res judicata. Right. So this is the legal thesaurus in the form of words and phrases. Now, we started with word search. Similarly, in this section, we have one find by topic, where you don't key in anything. Topics are available in alphabetical order, as you can see over here, right? So you can just simply select one particular topic from among the list, and you get to see the judgments on that. But then, how which particular topic falls under which particular act, or maybe more than one act, that if you want to study or know, the best way is here is that in the find topic search area, you enter that particular topic. Say I'm looking for say on judgments on service law. When I click on service law, I'm amazed to see that it's been giving me at least 5. There are 5. One on advocates, aviation law, education law, labor law, and of course the principal one, that is the service law. Now in labor also there will be mention of service, and same way for the rest of these. So you come to know that this particular topic can be in more than one statute list or a topic. Right. Now let me just go to the service law, and in this also, if I now I'm going for a specific one, like I'm looking for say termination of service. So you can see there's a huge list over here, and I can select the one. And before I start the search by clicking on the go button, you will see that by default it is mentioned, or it is pre-selected as search and digest. So it will search only in the summaries or the law points. But if I want to search in the entire judgments, full text judgments of High Court, Supreme Court, Tribunal, etc., so I can select that. And if I want every time that it should by default search entire database, then I can click on the Save Search Preference checkbox. So next time the software will remember this, and it will automatically give you everywhere. I mean, all databases will search on that particular topic. Now let me go back to the dashboard by clicking on the dashboard icon. And let me show you one more option over here, which is find by party name. Now in find by party name, you either have a name of an appellant or a respondent, or maybe both. And at times you don't have the actual or the original party name, but you have the media famous name. Like if we talk about cases here, like Sabarimala or Triple Talaq or Ayodhya, Babri Masjid, and there are so many. Bombay Blast case, BMW hit and run, first judge's case, second judge's case, Nirbhaya, and Jessica Lal and all that. So these are all actually, they're not the parties. They are famous names made by the media. So if I have that kind of a name with me, how can I search in SEC? You go to the second option, search by famous case names. Enter the party name over here. As you can see, the moment I typed Sabarimala, it gave me the suggestion. You want to, you're looking for women entry in Sabarimala. So I select that, click on find case, the software decodes and gives me now the actual citation and party name. Indian Young Law Association versus State of Kerala. So this is one method of finding famous cases. Now let's move on to the traditional one. That is, I have the party name, actual parties, but the first thing I have to select is the jurisdiction. Now, if I'm not sure about the jurisdiction, I can select all jurisdiction. And let's move on to the the party name now. So if suppose I'm looking for one judgment on Golaknath versus State of Punjab. Here, if I just enter maybe the first name, you will notice that it's giving me a huge list of 67. And it's very cumbersome to search for the one specific one I'm looking for. So in this case, what I can do is I can type the second party name also to make things easier. So I'll type say Punjab, and in between I'll not put versus or v dot. Right, both party names you can place in one go, and then you click on find case, and this way you will get very specific citations here. Now I'll double click on the citation. Once I double click on the citation, it will now display me the judgment, the full text judgment. And of course, apart from the judgment, it will also display the digest notes or the law points, the work that our editorial has done on this judgment. Now you can see here one judgment and 120 law points, right? Now all these are now listed in the second column, that is the result list. It's showing a couple of labels over here. J, which stands for full text judgment, and 11 means this is the bench strength or the quorum strength. Apart from that, you will also notice in the second number, there's a label by the name D, which stands for summary or the digest note that we call, and of course the quorum strength. Now, what if I have, these are all law points, I mean, on say particular fundamental rights, then you go to the constitutional amendments in point number 6, and so on and so forth. Now, I want to ensure that there is no overruled law point. Remember one thing, that in Supreme Court, on the entire judgment is not overruled. Only few law points are overruled. The rest of the law states holds good, still holds good. So I want to ensure which are those overruled law points. For that, what I'll do is I'll click on the search within search results area and type overruled, and then start the search. So the software will do what? It will search within these 121 results and give me the overruled law points over here. First one is the judgment, of course, and overruled may be mentioned in some para, not that any law, it's overruled. Again, number 2, 3, and 4 has a red exclamation mark, which is a new member. You know, you had earlier seen only 2 labels. Third one denotes that this particular law point has been overruled. You will see these red color circles on all these overruled law points, but point number 5 doesn't have one. So that means this law point is not overruled, but overruled is mentioned in the description or the opinion somewhere, right? And same way, you will get to see all of the other overruled law points. When I click on one of the overruled law points, as here you can see 368 and preamble, limitations imposed by preamble per minority, it's giving me the description. And then when I go to the scroll down to the bottom, it's mentioning the judgments in which it has been overruled. It's been overruled in a couple of judgments over there. Similarly, if I go to other law points, say like Article 368, nature of power, per minority opinion here, it's been mentioned, and you get to see the overruled judge, in which cases it has been overruled, right? And the rest, as you can see over here, power to amend fundamental rights per majority opinion, and then again it's overruled in a couple of these cases. Now, if I want to know how this judgment has fared in other judgments, I mean, it has been referred or cited merely, or it has been followed in or distinguished or relied upon. What all has been the treatment given to the in that particular judgment? If I want to know, I'll go use this option in third column known as case reference. When I click on case reference, what the software will do is it will pull out all those judgments where this Golaknath judgment has been cited, right? So you can see here 187 in total. And when I open a particular digest note over here, you can see it's mentioned over here, Golaknath versus State of Punjab in the judgment of Madhu Limaya versus Subdivisional Magistrate. It's a 1970 judgment. Similarly, you see another one of a 2006 dated ESI Corporation versus Jardine Henderson staff. And here, when I click on this go to next highlight, it will jump to that line where this citation is appearing. And you can see on the bottom, it says impolitely followed. So what all are the editorial inputs? You get these valuable inputs, like whether it's impliedly followed or relied upon or distinguished or merely cited, or all those descriptions are available here. Now let me move back to the dashboard. Find by party name apart, we have this find by citation. Now we have tied up with various publishers across India for providing you the exact, or what you call true print, which is like a photocopy of the print journal that we have, that they have published in the market. Same can be printed via SCC online. So that's why it's called a true print. And we are tied up with ILR 9 states, 10 states. Then we have Maharashtra Law Journal, we have MP Law Journal, we have Kolkata High Court Note, CHN. So everywhere we have tied up with each and every state, and the rest of the publishers, leading publishers. 200 plus citations are also made available over here in the form of equivalent citations. So you can see this, browse this list, huge list over here. And apart from SCC, suppose I want to look for one on AIR. So what I'll do is I'll just type it over here, and sorry, then select one, say Supreme Court. And of course, you can then enter the year and volume over here. So you'll put the year So you will the moment you enter the year, what happens that it will give me the index of all the pages. I mean, the first judgment starts from page number 1 and second from 19 and so on and so forth. So let me select the first one and click on get citation. So what you will see on screen now is of course the judgment, and the judgment will have a citation of SCC, not AIR. So you will be surprised how come whether it is actually AIR published in AIR. So what I do is I go to this digest note where in the bottom it's mentioned over here the party name, and then we have also kept the equivalent citations like Criminal Law Journal, ECRN, and AIR 2010. That's how we reached here. So equivalent citations you can just definitely search on. Then of course one more feature I wanted to show you of SCC editorial work, where this judgment of Supreme Court's on Advocates on Record Association versus Union of India with SP Gupta versus Union of India on the appointments and transfers of the judges, High Court judges. You can see this judgment over here. It's a bench strength of 9, but you can see only 3 or 4 judges' names in bold. Rest of them are in normal font. So what does that denote? That denotes that these 4 honorable judges are the authors of this, have authored this judgment, right? And if I want in among those, I want to be specific. I want to see the judgment portion of Justice Verma. I can click on his name and will jump to that particular page number, like 678 odd, from where his judgment starts. Clicking on his name will take me back to the top, number 1. Second is when I browse this in this judgment, it starts with the bold highlighted lines, which is part of the red note, the catch note and red note. And here we have also hyperlinked the act as well as the respective sections and the articles. So suppose in this case, I want to read the article 32 here itself within the judgment. I can click on that number and the article 32 is in front of me in the new window. Closing it, I'll go back to the previous, the judgment. I click on Constitution of India and the entire barrack or entire Constitution of India will be in front of me, right? Now let us scroll down further. You will see the summarization of the judgment in the form of these small paras, and at the end of every para there is a mention of para number, which is basically giving me the what to call the entire full text of that para number. In that judgment, it will jump to that para number in the judgment portion itself, because we are now right now in the summaries portion. And this goes on for a few hundred pages. This is the kind of work that has been done on this particular judgment. And then followed by that, you will see this blue highlighted portion also, which is basically the summary of arguments and which happened in the court between the two parties, as it has been kept over here. And after that, which also runs into quite a few pages, after that, the actual judgment starts. So you can see the kind of extra input that we have put over here. From page 504, the actual judgment starts. And there are 2 also you can see in these judgments, whether which judge is concurring and whom is dissenting. That also information you will get to see. Now let me just move back to the dashboard. And there's another option of find case law by section. Now here you will need to enter the act, and if you are looking for a particular judgments on a particular section, you can enter that over here. So if I'm looking for say one on say Indian Penal Code or Indian Contract Act, so Indian being common in so many acts, we were getting a huge list, so we have skipped that. So if you want to say search on Penal Code, you can straight away type penal rather than Indian Penal Code. And then the Principal Act, I'll just open it, and then the list of the sections comes up. And of course, if I want to search for say, I'll just go for the basic one, that is 302, which is just, I'm sure everybody knows about, punishment for murder. And then I click on go button, and then the results that I'll see, whether the digest notes or judgments, will be on 302 of Penal Code. Now moving back to the dashboard, coming back to the word search, we did a couple of searches. Now, apart from that, we also have at times got descriptive kind of a query. I mean, a query which is a lengthy sentence. As I had told earlier also, that if you have a very lengthy sentence, you should in the first instance that I showed you, I removed the latest judgment and from Supreme Court of India. Same goes with the any descriptive kind of a sentence that you have. If you focus on the main keywords. So I'll just illustrate this with one example. There was one judgment on this discipline versus discipline. A foreign judge's proverb was quoted, some African proverb that I cannot define an elephant, but I do recognize one when I see one. So if I go by that formula, I cannot recognize, I cannot define an elephant, sorry, but I do recognize one when I see one, something like that. So here what you see is again there is a difference between the search engine here and in say for example Google. In Google you must have done quite some searches at many a times, and if you type a descriptive kind of a search, you will find that in the results it will have somewhere on the bottom of that result, every individual result, one word or two words striked out. Means they have not found these two in this, but the rest of 3-4 words or 5 words are there. So you are getting this document to be viewed. Whereas in SCC, what happens is that if each and every word is not appearing in a single document or judgment, it will not appear in the results. By default, it searches for all the words and only gives me those judgments where all the words are appearing. And the second thing is, if you have written a descriptive query, it's not necessarily going to be in the same sequence or same, not sequence, I would say, it will be written or interpreted by the judge in a slightly different way. So I'll give you a small one gesture over here or a hint over here. I can't define an elephant instead of I cannot. I don't know what was written over here. So this way, if there is a one small mismatch, it will just skip that because one particular cannot was not appearing here. If there was can't, so it skipped it. So what I'll do is I'll do away with these common English words and focus mainly on the main keywords or the law point or what all you have. So here in this case, I'll remove this one. C, I think I'll keep, and then I do recognize and all I'll remove. Same way I'll go to this and I'll remove again a very common word, cannot, all the things reduced, so removed. So it has been reduced to only 3 maybe keywords, right? Now these will make sense only when they are appearing within a sentence. This way, if I start the search, it will give me documents where these 3 are appearing in different paras also. So that will defeat the purpose. So what I'll do is I'll put one in caps near. Now what this near is, this is a Boolean operator, which helps in searching for those correlating words in a nearby vicinity, right? How much nearby? If I just scroll down in the search bottom right, you see Boolean search setting means 10 words. So it will search within a range of 10 words. I can increase this range from 10 to 20 or reduce it to less than 10. Now, once I, enter these near operators and start the search, let's see the results. Now, these 3 main keywords will be part of a sentence, right? So this way I am getting very specific results, right? And the first one, 1945 Bombay High Court judgment. If I click on this, go to next highlight in the 3rd column, it will jump to that particular line where these 3 words are appearing. So it's mentioned over here. I find myself perfectly in capital lines, still as Crettenel just said on another occasion. I cannot define an elephant, but I do recognize one, right? So this is how the near operator works. And again, I'll just follow it up with another example. At times when you have more than one section or an act to search upon, in the find by case law by section, if you remember, I was able to scroll and select one particular section, not multiple sections, right? But I can overcome that by using the word search. So here, if I'm looking for, say, judgments on penal code, section 420, so I'll put 420, not section in between. I'll explain you why. Then Negotiable Instrument Act and section 130. So these four keywords I have keyed in. I have not entered the entire act name, and in between I put the near operator. So, and of course, you have also noticed that I have not put section here, because what happens, different publishers follow different nomenclatures. Like one publisher will have write it entirety section 420, other one will be S420, another one will be SS420, and so all these things. So again, it's going to be difficult. So how we make things easy? Using the near operator in between. So it will search for these two correlating words, of course, because 420 and penal nearby will be obviously talking to each other. So this way I can search for multiple sections and acts at one go. So you can see here this digest note, both the acts and sections that I mentioned. Now coming back to the word search. Similarly, as you had, as you've seen this near operators, we have a couple of more operators in the near form of not and or. Those are also useful. Let's take the example of or operator. In case of or, what happens that you have a query at times where you have synonyms to search for. You know, like if I'm looking for these judgments on cancellation of appointment, where the type of employee is either temporary, casual, or ad hoc. Again, these are all synonyms. I want to search for those. How I'll frame that query. So let me just put the type of employees over here. Temporary is one, right? Casual is the other one. Ad hoc is the third one, right? Let me keep 2, 3. In this case, ad hoc, I'll put in double inverted commas, since this being a phrase, single word to be searched. And then in between these three types, if I start the search here, I'll get results. Of course, I'll get results, but it will give me only those judgments where all the three are discussed, all the three types. But I want either of these. So for that, either of these, I'll use the or operator. Remember this. So what it will do is the software will internally search 3-4 times. First time for temporary, second time for casual, third time for ad hoc, and fourth time any permutation combination also. So thereby you will not miss out on any of these synonyms. So that is the or operator. And another operator known as not operator is used as and when you find the results as such are huge, and then you suddenly realize, oh, I should have kept this particular subtopic out of the results. So to keep certain subjects out of the results, you use the not operator. So in this case, suppose if I'm looking for one judgment on compensation, but I don't want the one on, say, medical negligence, I can type like something like this. So once I do that and I start the search, and it will give me judgments minus the ones on medical. That's the not operator. And now let's move to the judgments portion. I'll show you a few more options available in the judgment text. We can save this and mail this. This is self-explanatory, of course. Then you have the print option, and here in the print you will see three type of prints: true print, non-true print, and non-true print with highlight. True print will give me the exact photocopy of this particular journal in the print medium that we had. So first it will prompt me to enter the pages you want to print. I'll select 2-3 pages, click on the print icon, and now convert it into a PDF. And from there I can download it, I can print it, what all I want to do. But I'll just show you one thing here, that why it's called true print. Now, as this page will open, it will show you the same pagination and page numbering and paragraphing that you will have in the original print, original journal. So that's why it's called TruePrint. It's authenticity is there with the watermark, SSC Online TruePrint, the licensee name, the date on which it was printed, and then from 406 it starts, and then you will see the same highlighting bold portion coming up, and then followed by that normal font, and then the page number 3 starts like this. So it's exact replica or photo of the print journal. That's why it's called the TruePrint. And non-true print is, of course, which you are seeing right now on screen. It will print that way. It will not maintain those same paginations and paragraphing. So that is non-true print. Viewing purpose, you can make it slightly bigger or make it smaller. You can share this document by clicking on the document sharing link. And of course, at times, if you want to copy a portion of the judgment, remember in SCC, wherever there's a true print available, those are not manually, you cannot copy paste. You can copy paste the judgment portion, and that too in a specific manner. Let me just show you one. Here you can see the para numbers. Just adjacent to para number, there's a notepad icon, small icon over here. If you click once on that, a green tick appears. Same way I go to the next one, and it's also selected. So a selection has been made. Then I go to 6 and then 5, vice versa. I mean, just suppose it first 6 and then 5, and in the same sequence it will copy it. Now, how it will copy it? Once the selection is done, you click on the smart copy icon, the third icon in the third column, and a new window opens up. It will show me the origination, I mean the source, this extract is taken from so and so, equivalent citation, and page number. So each para will have the page numbering and source on top. And all of these can be printed, mailed at one go, or copied and pasted in my draft editor like Microsoft Word or something like that. And here I can just copy, select few also lines. Here the manual copy paste is available. So you can highlight the lines and Control-C and do Control-V. That way you can copy it. So this is how you can copy paste. If you have only a one para to be, you don't want multiple selections, then you can double click on that icon adjacent to the para number, and automatically that gets extracted, and the rest of the things remain same. And at times you also want to save certain documents in a folder. For that, what you'll do is you'll click on this add to my SCC Online folder. It will show you my folder by default. So you'll click on change folder, and then click on new folder at the bottom and give the name of your institute, like in this case. So let me put SRM and then press enter. The folder gets created. Then I select the folder. So it's showing me now. Yeah, this is the folder. It has been selected. So we want to save in that. I click on OK. And remember, these all documents and the folder goes on the cloud, on the SCC Online server, but access will be only to the person who has created it. With his login ID only, it will be accessible. So this was one document. Same way, I go open up another one, and this one also I want to save in the same folder. I click on OK. Thereby, I can also go to the district court, or maybe any bill, or well, a different type of documents that we have in the SCC. All of them can be clubbed together and saved in that particular folder. Once that is done, how to retrieve it? You just go adjacent to this dashboard. There is an icon of My SCC. In that you have My Folders. Click on View Folders, and the entire folder list will appear. And the last one that I have created is now displayed in the result list. Now, if I want to prepare a case compilation of all these documents, say for my moot court, or later on in profession, and I have to present it in court, I can use this checkbox of result list. It will select all the documents. Followed by that, I go to this action icon button adjacent to result list and go to the last option, last icon, create case compilation. The moment you click on that, it will show you the list. It will also prompt you to enter a name to this case compilation. By default, it's the same name as the folder name. And from here, if you want to, arrange these and sort them in ascending, descending, whatever, you can do that. Once that is done, you go to this bottom, you click on this bottom button, create button on the bottom right. And the moment we are talking, believe me, in the background, in a matter of a minute or so, you will get to see the case compilation ready. Manually, which will take you another at least an hour or two, because you have to set the sequence, then you have to put the manually the page numbers and all, which is done automatically by the software. So you get to see the table of contents where the title is mentioned, and adjacent to it you have the pagination done by the software from page number 1 to 3 the first document, from page number 4 to 9 the second, and from page number 10 to 22 the third. From here, if I want to make any changes, like I want to insert a comment over here, like I want para number 2 be discussed, so I can make it bold, highlight it, and insert a line, remove a line, that I can do. Then click on the save button to save the changes. That is one part. First part is table of contents. Then the second part, if you go to this second column, you will see the pages, page number 1 to 22. You click on that, and automatically it will, in the same sequence as table of contents, it will show me these documents, and they will be also having in this square box on right top the page numbers, and in the same as per TOC, as per table of contents. So the last step is to click on download arrows, download these couple of documents, and then of course you can take a print. So that is the case compilation for you. That almost completes the research section. Then we have the My Library section. In the My Library section, there are a few options. I mean, 2-3 topics we'll look at. Browse curated topic is one that is being prepared by our editorial expert editorial team. And then 10-12 topics: public law, environmental, taxation, corporate commercial law. If you select any one of the topic, now it will give me the various subheadings or subtopics under that topic. So in this you can see banking, you can see aviation, cryptocurrency, securities law, competition law, companies law. So many are there, as you can see on the left hand side. And if I click on select one of those, say for example competition law, so under that you will get to see the statutory law, you'll see the rules and regulations, notifications, circulars, case laws, articles. So what is different, what is new here over here is that everything has been sorted or maybe shortlisted or curated by our editorial. So how I'll just explain a little bit. Here you get to see the Principal Act, Competition Act, of course, of competition under competition law, but you will also see different acts which are related to competition law, like Companies Act section 230, 410, schedule 5. Then we have Electricity Act 23, 61, and so on and so forth. Then we have one on insolvency, and a couple of them on insolvency and bankruptcy, followed by Motor Vehicles Act and Petroleum and Natural Gas, RERA, TRI. So all those are now hand-picked and put over here. Same goes the case with rules and regulations. You get the Competition Commission of India and the appellate tribunals also, notifications and circulars. And if you go to the case law, in the case law, you will find only a handful of them picked by our editorial, according to the most important ones under competition law are being tabled over here. I click on one of them and you get to see the text. So that was browse curated topics for you. And similarly, we have this acts and rules. In acts and rules, you have the Constitution of India, you have the central acts, you have the state acts as well. Now in central acts, what we've done is we've done some extra work here. Say, for example, if I choose one act over here, Contract Act, you get to see the BAR Act. The entire BAR Act can be printed at one go, saved at one go, right? Now, if I browse through the BAR Act, you will see these blue colored highlighted lines. What all are these talking about? These are all commentaries inserted by our editorial. So you can see over here, like in this case, conditional offer, sub silentio acceptance, offer and acceptance. You see a citation for each and every topic over here. Like in this case, conditional offer, Food Corporation of India versus Ramkesh Yadav. If I click on this citation, it will open in a new window, this particular judgment. And there are lines which are picked from the same judgment, which pertain to conditional offer. Same goes with the rest of the topics over here. And this we have done in the entire central acts, in the entire barracks. Now coming to the dashboard, again, you have articles from leading publishers like ours, like SCC, and you also have the law review journals from leading universities, national law universities. And if you have a topic in hand, you can simply click on and type it over here. It will filter it out for you. Say, for example, in this case, hate speech I have searched for. You can see a journal from a Legal Law Journal, CALQ, Indian Law and Society, JILS, and National University of Juridical Sciences. Also, there's a law review journal on an article. Now, coming back to the dashboard, we also have secondary materials. In the secondary materials, as we talked in the first instance, as far as the coverage, data coverage is concerned, we have these bills in Parliament introduced both in and passed in both the houses that you get to see. Then we also have the constitutional documents, which also includes the entire Constituent Assembly debates, all the how it was formed and framed from volume 1 to 12. All of them are available here. Then historical trials and some policy documents and various reports of commissions and committees, which includes the Law Commission reports of India and the ones current one, as well as the pre-independence ones also, right? So that all falls under the browse secondary material. In treaties, we have the multilateral and bilateral treaties with other countries. Those are all indexed over here. Then also we have one moot court resources option available, which is going to be of great help to the people who are doing their moot courts, preparing for their moot courts. So you get to see the moot courts of leading national law universities over here. And if I specifically go to a particular institute or university, you can see here, in this case KIIT, it shows me the problem. Then it goes with the best team memorial and best winner team memorial, two categories here for both petitioner and respondent. So this way you can it will be a great asset or a tool to help you in your preparation for the moot courts. So this way I have just completed the sections over here. Then of course you have the IP edition of Hein Online also. So for in that case, what you'll do is you'll go to this heinonline.org website and click on the login, put on the credentials, and you'll get this home page. Now here in Hein Online, what we have is we have documents in the form of journals, and these are from I think it's a bucket of 150 out.
We just first take the questions for SCC Online.
Sure.
Yeah, because moving to the next software first straight away. Let's first complete SCC Online. Let's take questions if students have any questions on that.
Yeah, sure. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, let's do that, right?
Okay.
Rajesh, can I come in?
Yeah.
Have you covered that topic guide where you can sorry, not the folder where you can share on suppose 2 or 3 students working on a particular project. Now, if they want to share the folder with each other within the group.
Sanjit, they can't. It's not a group. It's a group user. This is an IP access. In IP access, you cannot do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So students, you can unmute, or you can also put the query in the chat box, and then we can reply those queries.
Sir, a humble clarification. Can we?
Yes.
Is there any limit for the materials to be downloaded?
No.
Ma'am, there Mr. Anand,
No.
there is a limit, ma'am, but it's a limit is I think in the last 10 years we have got only few complaints that the limit have reached. See, it's very there's a way the limit has been made. If someone tries to download the entire volume of one particular, let's say one particular journal, and the person wants to take a printout of the entire journal, then yes, there will be a limit. Like it'll say that, or if you've taken 1,000 pages every 1 hour, there'll be a usage message will appear that you're downloading too much. But yeah, if for a normal person who's taking 100, 200 pages in a day, that ways it will not reach. Anyone who's trying to make his own library out of SCC Online, yes, in that ways we have to be careful about, and then we do say that the limit is reached.
The question was regarding certain students maybe using the resources for moot court and all. So the contents which they can load, will that be hindered at any time?
No, ma'am. So if they're preparing for a motor competition, like I said, we have a very generous limits that we have set in. And like I said, in last 10 years, it's been 10 years I've been working in this company. I think I have come across only 2 or 3 people in total who had said that they have reached the limit. And this was all because of that someone or the other was trying to download the entire library of the software into offline thing. So for the students who are preparing for Moodle competition, they will not face any problem on that such. So I believe we have done the SCC online. I don't see any questions. Should we take it as that there are no questions, all is clear, or that you didn't understand at all, that is all clear, or is it crystal clear that you have understood every point that was being discussed, right from the topic, right from the word search, near functionality, or functionality, your folders and everything. So we would love to have interaction at this point of time. So anyone who can say anything or want to ask anything, this would be a good time. Yeah. Mr. Rana, just give us
Sure.
let's give everyone 30 seconds, 40 seconds.
Sure,
Otherwise,
sure.
if there are no question, then we move to the next software.
All
Right.
right.
Yeah.
So one more thing, for the people who have not yet installed the MyLoft application, can we use or can we set up an account straightly from our desktop rather than installing an app in the mobile phone?
Ma'am, you have 2 options. You can download the application on the mobile phone, or you can access the same thing, the same application, the same website through the web browser. So if you're on the laptop, I think I would suggest you don't download the application, you just use the browser. If you're on the mobile phone, you need to download the application. But before doing any of such thing, you need to be getting an invite email from MyLoft. So it is not that you go to the app store and you download MyLoft and it'll start working like that. It doesn't happen like that. The person has to have received an email from MyLoft saying that your ID has been registered and you please set your password. That's a first step even before you download anything. So like I said, on Monday we will circulate we will send the email from the server one more time, and then it will be all right. Then we can take the call.
Parvati?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes,
If there is no question, if everything is done, I think we can end up. If there is interaction, something more, you can share it, please.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. I'll quickly
something
move on to
more.
the High. Yeah.
Okay.
High online, which you have a subscription of IP based. So here you will have to have the ID and password. Once you enter the ID and password, you get to see this screen, the home screen. Now, before I just jump into this, I just wanted to brief it we have around 150 leading journals, law journals across the globe for you. And you have Duke University, Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge University, all these journals are also available to you under this ION. And once you log in, what you have over here is a very simple layout where it says search for a term, title, author, or citation. So all of them are clubbed in one place. If you remember in the SCC online, you had all those tiles over here. So here you simply have all the options available over here, and you can just simply type. So if I say I'm looking for a search, I'm looking for a particular phrase over here, like if I'm looking for say human trafficking. So the same formula goes over here. I'll put this in a double inverted commas. And the moment I do that, you will get to see author, title, citation, catalog, which category you want to search for this. Okay. So I can just simply leave it as it is. So it will search within the text this human trafficking, and then simply you will get to see the results. So you see 3,681 results are available, and then followed by that you can refine your search where we were doing that search within search and all that stuff. So you have here categories, various categories. So you can narrow it down from year wise in a range. It's again put in bunches, batches of 10 years over here, or you can also go by the library collection. Right, whether it is the SCC online 150 law journals that we have, the world constitutions are there, and of course you have the Phillips Sage as a moot court library also available. So you can just filter out that way, title wise, section wise, topic wise, and so on and so forth. And within this, again, you can also sort in the form of by default its relevance. Of course, you can also go by date wise, and the number of times it has been accessed in the past 12 months. This is something interesting. And number of times cited by this particular article has been cited with some other articles, like we had the case reference over there, or the most cited author you want to look for. So you can click on any one of those. Say, for example, in this case, number of times cited by articles, I click on, and then it will just pull out the ones, arrange the ones accordingly. So it has been cited by 219 articles, the most. That is laws, migration, and ethical exception. So that was a one very simple search. Same way, if I want to go for an advanced search, now what does advanced search mean? The operators, if you remember, the near operator, nor operator, here in form of near, there is a range straight away mentioned over here within 5 words, 10 words, or 25 words. And of course, the 3 operators that we have already gone through in the previous SCC session. Now here it says selection title. So again, you can go by book title, author name, or a full text. So I am looking for full text. I select human trafficking, and of course, along with that, I want it in the range of near, again a full text in the second column, and again I want to search for, say, child, human trafficking of children, and then I just simply start the search. So this is how you can perform these advanced searches in HighNow. So you get to see the same format over here. You can do the refinement further. You can sort it out over here, and you can see here it's talking about, it is broadly put in 2 categories: subject and topics. Subject, it's on family studies, law, criminal justice, and in topics, children, parents, and children, and so on and so forth. And then followed by that, in the square box, it's showing me the page. If I want to open the page rather than the entire journal, the page where these words are appearing. So I can click on turn to page, and it will open that page only where these words are appearing. Now from here, if you remember, we had done that copy paste feature. Same way I can do it in Hein also. First thing first, I can download this as a PDF, and I can print it. There are print options and download options. I can email the link to my associate, or I can click on text of the page. So moment I click on that, this will now get changed. I mean, now I can just make it bold, highlight, and Control-C, Control-V stuff. All that will work over here. Toggling is on this particular tab. You click on this, and it will move back to the original one, which was earlier there. You can also search within the journal or within the page here. In this case, for any other word, search within search kind of. You can move from one page to other, to and fro. All these are all self-explanatory, of course. Let me move back to the home page. Apart from this full text, you also have other searches. Let me just, yeah. So in this, you also see in the advanced search, as we did the full text search, same way, I can also do the catalog search. If you scroll down a bit, you'll get to see the catalogs section over there. So again, in this case, I want to select the field. So here you have the ISSN, ISBN number also. You can search by author name or a publication title, series wise, subject wise, and all these are mentioned over here. So suppose if I'm looking for one on the title wise, so I can use the publication title and then enter the title over here. So if I'm looking for, say, the legal system, something like this, and then again I'll have a combination here of, say, author, and let's to take the author over here. Let's say Farnsworth. All right, and then let's start search. So this is how we can do the catalog search. So you get to see one here, Introduction to the Legal System of the United States by Farnsworth. Going back to the home page, you can also find case law by the citation in the form of citation. So you get to see, apart from the catalog, you have the citation area also over here. So you can enter the case citation over here. So let me just try one. I'm not having one handy, but earlier there was one on Harvard. Let me see if I can pull out. Yeah, it's giving me the list. Very good. So from here I am selecting one. Though you have a specific one, you can enter that over here manually and then click on Get Citation. And this way it will show me that particular case law on basis of citation. Maybe the citation. All right. So citation search you can do here in this third column this way. And of course, let me move back to the home page. In the home page, you will also see these databases can be browsed by category, like case law, or there are journals and periodicals. So if I go by journals and periodicals, SCC Online Journal Library of 150, that we have the reservoir of. So you will see the index over here. Say suppose I'm looking for Harvard, I click on, and then Harvard Law Review. Okay, so I'll click on that, and you get to see the entire volumes 1 to 134, 5, 1887 to 2021. All of that will be there. Again, in specific years, I can just browse and open it up. So this way also I can browse these periodicals through this option of journals and periodicals. Then we also have other options like, as I told you, Phillips HSF library. You also have the UK content in from 1220 till date. And then we also have this what you call World Constitutions Illustrated. Right. So if I select any one of the constitution, browse constitution by country, it will give me the entire alphabetical list of all the countries. Then let's take the example of India only here. So you can see here India, you click on that, you get to see the entire constitution. Now these are very interesting facts. They are clubbed in different categories over here. Constitution and fundamental laws, commentaries, and there are commentaries also. Some scholarly articles also pertaining to Constitution of India. So if I click on this one, Constitution and Fundamental Laws, so you get to see the Constitution of India in entirety, then the draft, and then there are other titles also, like Act of Parliament, British Proclamation, Acts of British Parliament, etc. So very comprehensive, that you can also access here from this World Constitution section. So I think, is there anything else you want to add, Chetan? Chetan, Mohit?
Yeah, Mr. Rana.
Yeah, I think just concluded. I wanted to just say that if you have anything to add.
I think in the constitution what you showed, I think just show one more thing, this World Constitution.
Yeah.
And browse by country.
Yeah.
And go back to India. Now, you showed the Constitution of India, draft Constitution and everything,
Right.
but there are other information which are not there, which is commentaries. If I click on the commentaries one, see there are a lot of documents which are otherwise not available, readily available in the internet as such. Everything that is relevant to not only for the current India as we know it, the India as we know it today, but also the India which was there, under the British law, the British time. So this gives us the good information about the history, how India has evolved over the last 7 or 8 decades. And not only that, how the Indians, how the Britishers, set up their, came over here and set up the entire things, and the earlier times compared to the present times. All that is available over here. So I think this kind of commentary, other relevant information would be really, really informative for students. Mr. Could you please scroll down a bit? Just take one scroll down. And wait a sec. British government in India. Yeah, just take this, British India and its rulers. Now, see, this will talk about a lot of things which usually is not being out there in the public, right? Can you click on that?
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, just click on that entry.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about not the times that we know it usually, but this is going to talk about the initial times, how the rulers came into place, what were the strategies and everything, how they started going from one side to another. A lot of you would I think I'll give you a food for thought on this right now. Now, if you notice that the connection between back in the this colonial period that we were part of, if you notice that the most developed cities were connected with the ports. Like you talk about Delhi, so we had ports, right? We had ports around Kolkata and in Chennai, right? And they had railway lines, they had good roadways structure in place so that they can extract as much as possible from all the rich states, and they can put it in, go to the port directly via trains and get the stuff out of India. But the whole purpose of the Britishers was to exploit the colonies, not respective only to India, but all the colonies that they had, including USA. So exploitation, but done in a very structured manner so that the efforts are less, but the outcome is more. How this entire thing evolved over the period of time, all that is being discussed over here. So I think it's a good understanding of your thing. I think it reminds me of one thing. I don't know how many of you have heard this. What's that person named Mohit? Mr. Who's very good with, who's very fluent with English, our Congress politician.
Shashi Tharoor.
Shashi Tharoor. Yeah, Shashi Tharoor. So, Mr. Shashi Tharoor, I don't know how many of you have heard his statement in the British Parliament when he spoke about India and the Britishers, how British exploited it. Now we all got wowed by that, that his speech in the Parliament. It was viral in India at some point of time. It's all because we think that, oh wow, we didn't know about this. The problem is that all the information is kept over here. Read about it, and who knows, next time we'll be listening to you rather than Shashi Tharoor, right? So go ahead, do the search for things, get more information. Information is out there. You need to know where to go. In this session, now you've got the point where how you need to access the information. Now it's totally up to you. The ball is on your court. You decide that do you want to still be on the same level when you are not aware of things and you're okay with that ignorance, or you want to move ahead, go to the next level and upskill yourself with the knowledge that might not be useful today per se, but might come in handy in the future. Okay, on that thought, with this thought, I will leave this session to you. I leave this information on to you. Ponder upon it, and if you have any questions, we are here. Mr. Rana, over to you.
Thank you, Chetan. So students and distinguished faculties, if there are any queries, you may please ask. In the meanwhile, I'll just show you one more option here. That is the help feature. In the form of a question mark, you have this view user manual option. When you click on this, a new page opens up. You have these frequently read articles. You want to know more about case reference, you click on that and you'll get to see an example, illustrated example on case reference over here. And if you have any other topic in mind, you can simply type it that over here. Like in this case, I wanted to know more about near operator. So I can just type it, it will give me a suggestion and then follow it with an illustrated example. That's help feature for you. We also have some webinars on our YouTube channel. So you can type webinar over here. You will get to see these 7-8 webinars which are uploaded there. We click on one of them. This link is available, YouTube link, and lead to the YouTube channel. You can view it over there.
Thank you, the team SCC Online, for creating an eye-opener session regarding how to use the platform provided. We'll really get back to you for any kind of further queries and troubles if we face. Thank you for supporting us.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
To our respected Dean to mention a few words.
Thank you, Parvati. Well done, and I'm very happy to compliment and thank Rajesh, Chetan, Mohit, etc. Done an excellent job. Now this is the era of information accumulation, dissemination, dissection, whatnot. No dearth for information. Only thing is how best we make use of it, isn't?
Absolutely.
And yeah. But the maximum we can facilitate the thing. Ultimately, my faculty members and my students shall make use of it. Then all these success will become fruitful, right?
Sure.
I wish you all the best to everyone, and I thank you on behalf of School of Law and everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much for your kind words.
Thank you, sir. Let us be in touch.
Right, sir.
Yes,
And just for the...
No, really, your presentation was very, very professional.
So thank you for the kind words, sir. And I think just for the record, we would like to also say that this is a preliminary session. This is an intermediate basic session. And sir, like you said, that we will be in touch. I would also like to put it on the record for you, sir, and for the Parvati ma'am as well, that in case, whenever you think that the students have reached to this level that they have done with the basics and they would like to do an advanced session, we would love to come back again. We would love to have another session, sir, whenever you think that it's at the right time.
Yes. Thank you.
Sir.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Sir, stay safe, stay home, stay safe, and we'll meet soon.
Same thing. Very good. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Bye. Mr. Raina, thank you so much for a wonderful session.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Mohit, thank you for your help all around the session. Thank you, Dean sir. Thank you, Parvati ma'am. And thanks to all the students. We'll see you soon. Mohit, I'm ending the video recording now. Can you end the meeting for everyone?